What is going on, everybody? It's KB. Before the episode starts, make sure you go check out StreamerSZN's brand new theme music. That's right. We have full-time, brand new theme music thanks to the newest homie and newest member of the music side of Underground Sports Philadelphia homies. That is Mobley. Stay Volk. His new single is out now. It is linked in the description on YouTube, and you'll be hearing it on audio until we can figure out if we can play it on video on StreamerSZN episodes from here on out. That's our new theme music. Stay Volk. Go download it now wherever you get your music, and go check out the music video on YouTube. But now, let's get into the episode of StreamerSZN.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Rolling Traggy, we're back. Happy New Year, fellow streamers, and welcome back to another episode of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's KB and Christian coming at you. We got a fun show for you. We're going to talk Creature Commandos. I'm going to zip off to a galaxy far, far away with Harrison as we discuss the penultimate episode of Skeleton Crew. And then Christian and I are going to go into the deepest of deep dives on Squid Game Season 2, as we have now both finished the show for now. Because spoiler warning, there's Season 3.
Which I would just like to say, Netflix, couldn't you have just told us we're getting the next half in 2025 so it could be on our lists?
I was like, you've got to be kidding me. We'll get into all that, plus some news and notes.
Hey, fuck, I can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe it. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN and StreamerSZN Pod on TikTok. You can follow Christian at the Wiz_PHI. You can follow me at KBIZZL311. And you can follow Harrison on Instagram at harry.crem, I believe is his handle. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star review. It helps this show continue to grow, helps more people find all of our shows here at Underground Sports Philadelphia, and lets us continue to do more dope stuff with and for you guys. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show every week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. We're 17 subscribers away from 900, which, quick, simple, easy math means we're 117 subscribers away from us having to scour the multiverse to find Dylan to have him dress up in the costume of your choice, and I'll start watching Game of Thrones Season 1, which means...
And I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Because I don't think we ever settled on something for me.
Yeah, we never figured anything out, so you guys can let us know in the YouTube comment section, but subscribe, leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, and I believe pretty soon we're going to be opening a voicemail line on this show as well, so you can leave us suggestions and everything on the voicemail line. But let's get into Creature Commandos, the penultimate episode. It's brought to you by Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. From sunglasses to blue light glasses to prescription lenses, Tomahawk Shades has you covered. I wear my blue light glasses when I'm editing the podcast, when I'm watching my favorite shows and movies. They truly help protect my eyes. My eyes feel a lot more relaxed when I wear them, and I sleep a whole hell of a lot better when I wear my blue light glasses before going to bed when I'm watching anything on a screen, because those blue light rays are killer. Go to TomahawkShades.com or download the Tomahawk Shades app in the App Store or Google Play Store. And when you go to checkout, use code USP for 25% off your next order from our friends at Tomahawk Shades. That's TomahawkShades.com, or download the Tomahawk Shades app in the App Store or Google Play Store and use code USP for 25% off your next order with our friends at Tomahawk Shades. The penultimate episode of Season 1 of Creature Commandos, Christian. It was quite radioactive, if you will.
Quite radioactive, quite phosphoric, with one explosive, if not surprising, if not exciting moment towards the end.
Yes, there was a big time reveal that I genuinely did not expect to see, but I'll take it any day of the week. Definitely, I think a more up to speed and more like non just kind of mid-season point episode than last week. I enjoyed this one. There was a lot of fun incorporated in it, and I'm excited to see kind of how this season kind of comes to a close next week. But what were your takeaways from episode 6, Parietal Skeleton?
My takeaways were My takeaways were we've learned about everyone's backstory except I'm already freaking what's her name? The fish girl?
Nina.
We've learned about everyone's backstories except Nina. So now we have an interesting spot where we're heading into the final episode. She's the only one we really don't know fully anything about, but also that'll probably answer itself. And this is feeling more like a show where it's like we're just going toward a chill endpoint, and we're just like more than the start of the season. It feels like we're in a holding pattern. I don't know if it's a bad way. I don't know if it's a good way, but we're just in a holding pattern in a way where it doesn't feel like there's going to be any significant power from this season that's going to impact the future of the DCU, but the DCU really hasn't even started yet if we want to be like that. So
yeah, I mean, I do feel like it kind of helps that we already know we're getting a season 2, so it's kind of like we know we're not going to be left in like a limbo space with this show.
Fair.
Which I think is a benefit where, we've had shows in the past where it's like, all right, where do we go from here? And it's like, that show's been canceled. It's like,
well, do we have a show for you?
It's called The Acolyte. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see how they kind of land the plane for season 1 and what they do to say, oh, this is what's coming in season 2. But I think Dr. Phosphorus is a very fun character.
Yes. Just what he spends the vast majority of this episode doing is quite humorous.
So do you want to give the people a glowing spoiler warning for this one?
I was trying to think through what I wanted to do for this, but I realized that I don't want to try and go down the European accent backward again. So I'm not smiling. Of course, I'm not smiling. I'm smiling. Me trying to do a shitty Dr. Phosphorus. Everyone, please. If you haven't watched this week's episode, please pause, go and watch it, come back, so we can get Amelia Waller off her ass. We can get Argus off her ass. We can get them doing something better with their lives, and we can go on enjoying ours. And you can help us out. We can help you out by giving you a good time. So yeah, just go watch this week's episode and come back and everything. Yeah, smile.
And there you have it. This episode,
bada bing, bada boom.
Directed by Sam Liu, James Gunn, the writer of this bad boy, obviously. Parietal Skeleton. In flashbacks, nuclear scientist Alexander Sartorius receives funding from mob boss Rupert Thorne to develop a cure for cancer using nuclear fusion.
Because that always goes well.
Exactly. However, Alex realizes his true intentions and betrays him. Now, if you don't know who Rupert Thorne is, he appears in the DC comics. He's a character that's a crime boss and an enemy of Batman.
Spoiler alert.
Shocker. Definitely a very interesting kind of like, not exactly kingpin, but like that street level kind of crime boss type of character who is big enough to have his own name, big enough to have his own like character arcs and everything. Upon discovering this, Thorn has Alex's family killed, frames him for his crimes, and tries to kill Alex with his nuclear equipment. But instead, Alex becomes a radioactive metahuman. Bum, bum, bum.
Just how they did it with Dr. Oppenheimer. Sorry, did it with Dr. Manhattan. They did it with Dr. Phosphorus. Do we not learn, people?
Taking the name Dr. Phosphorus. It's one of those things that, you know, history just repeats itself.
Waterloo.
Taking the name Dr. Phosphorus, he kills Thorn and takes over his criminal empire until he is captured and taken to Belle Reve by Batman. Who would have thunk we'd see Batman in this show?
Not me. What when we saw him for a split second, it was like, whoa, hold on, wait a minute.
Hold on a minute, player. Hold on a minute, player. The fact that we got an image of Batman,
yeah, like
and not in the Penguin is insane.
Yeah, like that was the thing I was more surprised at. It's like, oh, they're showing us him. Like we're actually seeing a split second of Batman in this economy.
Congratulations to everyone who had Batman would show up in an animated property in the DCU first on their bingo cards of James Gunn's DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
You won the big prize of being correct, because I don't think any single soul saw that coming. But I enjoyed every second that Batman was on the screen, and I use second very literally because it was about a second.
It was a very small amount of time.
And then in the present, Eric sends Flag to a hospital and hijacks a private jet to reach Pakistan. Concurrently, Phosphorus encounters a Pakistani child who reminds him of his son, while the bride and Nina find shelter in a brothel. And elsewhere, Weasel escapes into a forest where he befriends a wolf pack before leaving them.
It was so random. It was so random, but I absolutely loved it. Even though Weasel was very much like, I don't know about this at first, and then stick.
Yes. Before leaving them to find Rostovich, who reminds him of one of the children he befriended. As Rostovich assembles her forces, Task Force M reunites outside her castle as they try to prevent World War III. And then we also got the first appearance in animated form of our ginger friend from Peacemaker. That is like Amanda Waller's assistant, which absolutely loved that. Very fun episode. I like this one a lot.
Trying to prevent World War III. Classic
superhero trope. James Gunn is pulling out all the stops in the best way possible. We love James Gunn.
Yeah.
Next week's episode is a Matt Peters directorial piece. He's done every other episode along with Sam Liu, and it's titled A Very Funny Monster.
Ooga Booga Monster.
So who knows what that entails.
Does Eric become a comedian?
Ooh.
Frankenstein, the comedian, next on Johnny Carson.
You have Eric Frankenstein's monster sitting down with Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon's just laughing at him every 5 seconds.
And then Eric picks him up and breaks his neck and sits in his chair, and everyone cheers.
And Jimmy's still laughing.
That's a really fun image.
Those metal bolts sticking out of your neck, but they're so funny. Oh, you think they're funny, Jimmy? Just yeets him over to Questlove.
Would Questlove even be upset? That's the real question.
We would just need Questlove to do the funniest rim shot of all time. Yeah, I've enjoyed the show a lot. I'm glad it's getting a season 2. We have one more episode next week, but I think this is like perfect way for James Gunn to kick off his DCU, and he just continues to stay in the headlines because the people who have gotten the early screeners of Superman have said it's giving very Guardians of the Galaxy like vibes, which is exciting.
I don't think we can go that far yet because this show has been a lot of backstory in a way.
Oh no, I was talking Guardians vibes for the Superman movie.
Whoa! Sorry, I thought you were talking Creature Commandos.
People who have gotten like early screeners so far and have said that like the energy it's giving is a lot like what Guardians 1 gave off.
Okay. But we shall see. We shall see. I'll do this prediction out now. We get the first full Superman trailer, Super Bowl. Which well, because the funny thing is, leading is in like the week before the week before they announced the teaser was coming out. I was telling my friend, I think we're getting a full trailer during the Super Bowl, because if you look at what came out last year during the Super Bowl, it was Wicked, it was Twisters, it was all these big summer and fall movies, and it's like what's bigger than Superman right now? Like
that should be something we do in the coming weeks, is predict the TV and movie trailers we get during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this show's very fun. We'll give our overall grade next week on the show, which will coincide with Skeleton Crew's finale, which it's crazy that we have gone so long with with Star Wars, and it took us until now to get a show that has really stuck the landing in so many ways and still has a chance to get better. They're doing the damn thing. Also, James, I know we'll talk about news and notes, but since we're on the topic of James Gunn, officially cast as Lobo, the one and only Jason Momoa.
Even though we've kind of known this for a year and a half at this point.
Yeah, I brought this up to Harrison. I said it's very funny that Jason Momoa goes from playing Aquaman to Lobo. Nobody bats an eye, but Robert Downey Jr. gets cast as Dr. Doom, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, but at the same time, even though he's going to be behind the mask, hopefully, it's recasting into a different version. It like an entirely new DC. I don't know what term James Gunn would like us to use. Whereas like this is still the same MCU continuity, so everyone's like, yeah.
Fair. I did find it funny though. It's like everyone was so hyped. Oh, Jason Momoa's back in DC. Let's go. It's like, yeah, we've known this, but also very funny. But yeah, let us know how you're feeling about Creature Commandos in the YouTube comment section. And now I'm going to blast off to a galaxy far, far away and discuss Skeleton Crew with Harrison. And now, without any further ado, let's go to a galaxy far, far away and break down the next episode of Skeleton Crew. Welcome back to another Skeleton Crew breakdown here on StreamerSZN, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year from Harrison and myself. It's another episode of Skeleton Crew. It's episode 6, the Bryce Dallas Howard emotional episode, and that it was. We're going to break down episode 6 of Skeleton Crew, kind of get into the ins and outs of where this episode kind of leaves us, as we have 2 episodes remaining. And kind of just where we think this can all come to a head, because I don't know about you, Harrison, after this episode, which I think is a very solid, good episode, I'm a little nervous with only 2 episodes remaining about where this Onyx Cinder particularly lands.
I agree. It's very up in the air. It's in a strange place. Now how are they going to bring it back all together?
Right. And it's one of those things that like they've done such a good job these first 6 episodes.
Yeah.
I don't want them to rush the remainder of this show with 2 episodes left and it all kind of be a jumbled mess. Now, I don't think it will be because our directors for the final 2 are Lee Isaac Chung and John Watts, who have done phenomenal jobs on this show and on other projects, obviously.
Yeah.
But again, we're 6 episodes in, and we don't necessarily know how this show completely ties into the Mandoverse.
No.
And not that I'm like looking for immediate payoff or anything like that, because we still have another season of The Mandalorian coming. We still have a Mando and Grogu movie coming. We still have so much that is on the horizon with this entire portion of the Star Wars universe. But I am curious as to like how this is all going to tie in. And the more and more I watch this episode, the more and more it has me wondering if Jod and Mando know each other.
Yeah. And they might have,
from their pirating, bounty hunting lives.
The underworld, they get up to some shit. Things happen.
It does have me wondering.
Yeah.
But we'll get into this one, titled Zero Friends Again, which is an interesting title for this episode. If you haven't watched the episode, spoiler warning, guess what? We're recording this. It's 1:20 in the morning. I don't have a pirate voice in me right now. So go watch the episode, then come back to this podcast, and then we'll break it all down for you. So we go, Jod and SM-33 are captured by the pirates and Pocket, who we saw last week. That's the lady we saw at the old spa area. The pirates take Jod and SM-33 back to Brutus for execution. That's our giant wolf bounty hunting pirate. Meanwhile, the children drop out of Renaud's lair at the bottom of the resort, and KB reveals she memorized Ad Atten's coordinates. See, it's always the KBs coming up clutch, Harrison. What do you know? Another KB who just is so goddamn smart.
How could you not see that coming? Come on.
How could you not see that coming? Well, maybe your little robot chip in the back of your head also malfunctioned and you didn't see it coming, but god damn it, the KB strike again.
Hey, only the clutchest people are named KB. Come on now. Come on.
Valid. A subsequent argument over how to reach the Onyx Cinder results in Fern and Neil trying to ascend the mountain while Wim and KB follow a group of seemingly benevolent trash crabs. The way that I am going to use trash crabs as an insult to somebody moving forward knows no bounds. Oh, you little trash crab. Get the hell out of here, you little trash crab.
So someone starts acting a fool at the bar. Trash crab, keep on moving. Get out. Get.
Hey, stop acting like a trash crab and get to crawling.
Yeah.
Get to crawling, you little trash crab.
Get to stepping, get to crawling.
Jod manages to earn himself a stay of execution in exchange for the location of Ad Atten. Midway, KB cybernetics suffer a malfunction from corrosion, forcing Wim to fix them. Fern and Neil recover the Onyx Cinder and save their friends before they could be eaten by a giant trash crab.
The trash crab.
That thing was like a kaiju trash crab.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a big year for kaijus if this is any indication. We got this. We got the one in the Superman trailer. I'm sure Godzilla is going to pop back up again because
we'll get some new form of a Pokemon that looks like a kaiju. Like we'll get a trash crab kaiju Pokemon.
Yo, a Gigantamax Kingler or whatever.
It's a Gigantamax Crustle.
Yeah. That one.
So they get the giant trap. That thing was kind of terrifying. Not gonna lie. That was like Bryce Dallas Howard was in her bag of Jurassic Park with that one.
For a show, I mean, you can't have a show meant for kids or like not meant for kids, but like with the general age vicinity of your target audience being like younger,
Right.
and not have some kind of traumatizing moment.
Now, I will say too, this show, because it's a Bryce Dallas Howard episode, she typically has like that emotional feel like to her episodes in the Mandoverse. As I was watching this show, I don't know if you felt the same, but the way when I was watching this, we've had other Star Wars shows in the past, like The Acolyte, like Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, even the last season of Mando that we had, where like it's felt like outside of like Andor and some bits and pieces of Ahsoka, we really haven't had like the character connection aspect in a lot of recent Star Wars projects. And as I'm watching this episode unfold and this giant like trash crab furnace thing that's getting ready to like devour this ship, I was like, this show's doing a really good job of connecting the audience with characters.
Yes.
Something The Acolyte absolutely failed to do. Something that, to a degree, the Book of Boba Fett wasn't really intending to do. Something Obi-Wan failed to do because you already had a connection with Obi-Wan Kenobi, but it was like you're not building anything from that per se. This show has done a brilliant job through 6 episodes connecting you with Star Wars characters who are brand new to the universe.
Yes, I agree. And these kids are just so wholesome, and you could tell that they care about each other. And Jad is just charismatic in the most dickheaded way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Pirate. He's got that swagger about him. And I'm just I said it earlier, but I'm still loving it.
And it's one of those things too that like having an emotional connection to characters matters for your fans and matters for just like the ultimate growth of a property. And when you're incorporating these characters from Skeleton Crew into the larger Mandoverse, which is obviously a larger Star Wars universe, that's pivotal. And to like John Watts, credit to him and credit to the casting director, because every single like main character I give a shit about. Like I want these characters to succeed. I want these characters to stick around. Even these side characters like a Brutus, like Pocket, and some of these side characters, like the parents, even like they're memorable. They have a charisma about them that makes you want to know more about them. And with our most recent Star Wars project being The Acolyte, you had none of that. And you look at the casting in that show, you should have been connected to so many characters from The Acolyte, and they just dropped the ball on it across the board. And this isn't me like shitting on The Acolyte, because The Acolyte had bright spots, but this show in Skeleton Crew compared to The Acolyte is night and day in terms, and it's so much more difficult because you're doing it with 3 child actors.
Yeah. And somehow they've managed to, have better writing and way better character development, because let's be honest, it's a pretty low bar to set when you're comparing it to The Acolyte, which was just a big flop. But they bounced back in the best way possible, and it's heartening to see.
And I don't know about you, but I always laugh when I see Neil's hair.
Yes, it's awesome.
That boy looked like he just got a freshie at the barbershop in a galaxy far, far away. The intergalactic barbershop knows no bounds. I need to know who Neil's barber is. Neil's barber probably has like a bazillion followers on Star Wars TikTok.
Oh yeah, he's raking in the credits.
It's like, yo, what are we doing to you today, my boy? Yo, I just want that intergalactic fade. Do your thing. Give me the special. And then it's like the before, and then it just like does the TikTok like cut, and it's like Neil with a freshie. My mom loves those videos. When I find like the videos of like the TikTok barbers and everything, I show them to her. My mom's like, those are not the same people in the video. The way that those haircuts transform those people are ridiculous.
It's just a quick boom, and then we're back,
diced up to the nines. Neil's got the freshest cut in the galaxy.
Easy.
Um,
Nobody's touching his drip.
yeah,
Nobody's touching it.
Neil's our king. And then soon the ship is pinned by a garbage machine, forcing the children to purge the hull, revealing a sleeker ship beneath as they depart Lanupa. I fucking love that sequence.
Yeah.
That entire sequence was so dope. It was everything you could have wanted from Star Wars, where it's like, holy shit, we're in trouble. What do we do? You hit this button that somebody said, don't you ever fucking touch that button, and boom, you have a cooler ship now ready to rock and roll, and now it's your own. Like, it was like a snake shedding its skin.
Yeah.
It was such a cool sequence, such a awesome transition. And whoever decided to come up with that, I'm sure it was Bryce Dallas Howard and her Jurassic Park brain again, because dinosaurs shedding their skin or something like that. Brilliant job. That was so sick, so badass. I hope the kids rename the ship now, because it's not necessarily the Onyx Cinder anymore.
Yeah.
And it's their own ship. That also reminded me of Mando to a degree.
Yeah.
Where Mando obviously had the Razor Crest. That thing went kablooey. And then he gets his new starship from Pelimoto.
Yeah.
I'm curious where the kids are going now, because obviously they have the coordinates to AT-ATN, but what type of AT-ATN are they going to be returning to?
I mean, considering there's 2 episodes left, I think they've got to be going back home, right?
I would assume, but are they going to be greeted by Jod and the space pirates pillaging their home? And do we find out who the Oz, the man behind the curtain, is? Do we see Thrawn like we predicted all the way back in episode 2? I feel like you end the season in AT-ATN.
You have to, yeah.
But you also have to have the payoff of Jod bringing these pirates there.
Yes.
And kind of uncovering why AT-ATN has been able to survive all this time, especially because they do the whole pirate shanty thing, talking about Tak Renaud, and in that shanty they talk about AT-ATN.
Yeah.
Like, that to me was like, Tak Renaud kind of knows where AT-ATN is, because his ship was there, obviously, too. And it's like, where the fuck is Tak Renaud? And everyone thinks he's dead. Here's the question, Harrison: is Tak Renaud dead?
I don't think so. That's got to be a red herring. Like, he can't be dead.
And it's like, homeboy Jod has all these like different, aliases and everything. Is Tak Renaud just an alias for somebody else?
Could be.
Like, is Tak Renaud a space pirate name for Thrawn, who we don't know where he went? Like we've been saying this whole time, that's kind of been our thing for kind of figuring out the connection to the Mandoverse. Like, is Tak Renaud like a Thrawn, alias? Is Tak Renaud somebody we know from the Mandoverse, alias? It remains to be seen.
It definitely remains to be seen, but I don't think he's dead. I really don't think he's dead.
There's so many like, what if we had to break it down? What are the 3 questions you need answered by the end of this show? With 2 episodes remaining, what are the 3 biggest questions that are still out there unanswered in Skeleton Crew that you absolutely need an answer for by the end of this show?
Well, first of all, who's Tak Renaud, right? Jod's passed. And I want to know more about KB and her accident. Like, that I feel like that has to be answered. Like, because they brought it up and they mentioned it briefly, but you've got to know more. What happened? Why is she? Is there something more that we're not seeing? Because we saw her malfunction for the first time. But is that going to be a recurring issue? Will that happen again in a pivotal moment? What needs to be done to keep her safe?
Right. I need answered, number 1, who's the man behind the curtain? Who is the senator or whatever the name is of the person? The supervisor.
The supervisor.
We need to know who the supervisor is.
Yes.
Number 2, we need to know the story behind the mural in Fern's house and everything. We need to know kind of the backstory there and where that comes from. Could we get that next week? Potentially. I wouldn't put that past being a Lee Isaac Chung episode, especially if you know Lee Isaac Chung and what he is known for. He's done episodes in The Mandalorian. He was the director of Twisters. He's big time. The episode of The Mandalorian that he did as well was Chapter 19, The Convert, which is when they're in the living waters with Bo-Katan and on Mandalore and everything with the mythosaur and all that.
Yeah.
So he's got like that mythical kind of like thing in his bag. We could learn about the mural next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we definitely need that. And then we also need to know Jod's whole background. Like we don't really know all that much about Jod. We know he's force sensitive. We know he's got a gazillion aliases, and he's also just a space cowboy. How does it all connect? That's what we need answered for sure. I still think our theory about Thrawn is, I'd say 74%. I'm still convinced that Thrawn is the one pulling the strings on AT-AT.
I could see it happening. I really could. But
because even more so, this week's episode with the trash crabs reminded me of the planet where Ezra was in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
In terms of like weird creature kind of thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll have to see. It feels like there's so little time left on the show and so much that needs to be answered. I hope they don't do it in a way that feels shoehorned in.
Yeah.
But I don't think they will do it like that. I think they'll be able to pull it off and do it.
They've been doing such a good job that, like, I really want them to, like, nail the landing on this thing.
Yeah. They better. I'm hoping for a 10 out of 10 Simone Biles-esque landing right here.
Yes. Before we get into our scores for the episode, predictions for next week and what could happen in the penultimate episode.
Jod's background, a little bit more from the actual planet of AT-AT. We need to go back there and see what's going on.
That's another good point that you bring up there too. Like outside of what we saw with like Wim's dad and everything, where it's like, oh, we gotta shut down the robots and stuff. We haven't really seen much of AT-AT since the kids left.
No, and we need to see much more, or else how are we going to get connected to the planet? So Jod's backstory, because I feel like that's too important to leave for sure you can do it in the final episode, but there's going to be so much happening in that final episode that it might get lost in the weeds. So I think it's best to do that next week. Then I want to say more on AT-AT. Jeez, you can tell the tiredness is catching up to us here.
Which I think too, like to your point with AT-AT, and like if the kids are en route to AT-AT, and this gives you the prime opportunity to go back to AT-AT for like your main location for this episode and play into the mythicality of the mural and give you a backstory on all of this stuff and like why do these people believe in whatever they're praying to or whatever it may be and who the supervisor is. And we potentially get that as like the cliffhanger type thing at the end of the episode where it's like, here's the supervisor reveal and now the kids are on their way and Big Daddy Thrawn is there and now they know who the supervisor is.
Yeah, like it's not hard, and it's also not hard to make you empathize with a father who's looking for his child. Like that is the easiest thing to knock out of the park.
Yes.
But you got to show him more. You can't just like briefly show him and then be like, okay, he's looking for his kid. Feel bad for him. No, you got like that. That's the starting point.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go further from there. You can't just leave us at that. So I hope we get more about Wim's dad and all the families of these kids. And then we go into the backstory and see how they figure out what's going on with the planet themselves. Because to have the kids come back and explain everything to them, I feel like that'd be a little bit lazy.
Because I don't trust the parents for what it's worth.
No, I don't trust. Well, I think Wim's dad is just a bit too much of an workaholic. Not an alcoholic. That would be way too dark.
You never know. He's getting turned off that blue milk.
Yeah, but that would be way too dark for this series. Like, this series can get dark, but that's a very special episode.
Here's why I don't trust the parents.
Of Skeleton Crew.
They all go to the Cheers bar. That's truly what's inside the dome. It's not an infinite credit. It's just Cheers.
God.
Wim. Why is there a kid in the bar?
Who's on the door? Where's security?
Like, the reason I don't trust the parents is because I feel like they're just like they're conforming to whatever's going on AT-AT and kind of just like giving in to the overarching villain,
I agree.
if you will.
I agree. And I'm hoping that they figure out that something's fishy and change their ways, but you never know. You never know.
Like, I think we're building up for the penultimate episode to be the kids on their way to AT-AT and Jod and the pirates on their way to AT-AT and then the parents and everything doing their little side quest to try to figure out where the kids are. Yep. And then we end up seeing who the supervisor is.
Yeah.
Like, I think you have to reveal the supervisor in next week's episode.
Yes, that is an absolute must. And just don't need to go in depth on him. Just give a face reveal.
Yeah, do like a Thanos type of reveal.
Like a slow turn and a smile or something. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what we need. Let me see if there is any episode 6. I want to see what the score is on the old tomato meter from everyone. Let's see if there's a score. Not for the individual episode. Interesting. But let's get to our review here. Looking at, I just want to see. Oh, this is pretty good, Harrison, for Star Wars. This is pretty good. Right now on Rotten Tomatoes, Skeleton Crew, the average tomato meter, which they've changed everything. If you don't know, the tomato meter is the critics. The popcorn meter is the fans. The tomato meter is a 90% on average.
Pretty good.
For Skeleton Crew. The popcorn meter, which is the fan scale, on average is 79%.
And you know the fans are the hardest to please, especially Star Wars fans.
Exactly. So, like, seeing that is fascinating.
Yes.
And it's got 63 fresh reviews, 5 rotten reviews on the tomato meter from critics. It's got an average 7.4 out of 10, which you and I are much higher on it. Yeah. But that's pretty damn good for a Star Wars program, especially coming out of The Acolyte and kind of the sour taste that was in everyone's mouths.
Yes.
For reference, our reviews have looked like this. For the first 5 episodes, I went 8-1, 8-2, 8-6, 9-2, and 8-9. Harrison, you went 8-2, 8-3, 8-5, 8-7, and 8-9.
Yeah.
How are you shaping up episode 6 to be on your rating scale?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm keeping it the same as last week. Another solid 8-9.
I am. I'm a little bit not necessarily down. It's just like a different episode. And not that it was like filler either, but it was like it didn't do too much to progress the plot. It was kind of its own like standalone type of thing. I'm gonna give it an 8-8 out of 10. So that gives it an 8-9 overall in our books because we round up on this show. But like again, this show continues to really like swing the pendulum back for Star Wars fans and really like connect you with new characters, which I feel like they've had such a difficult time doing if your name is not Din Djarin or Grogu and you're not a celebrity like Bill Burr and his character being fantastic. We better get in the fucking Mando movie.
I hope. God, I hope. So good.
Like, it's been difficult to connect with characters, and I think they have done such a good job really resonating and connecting people with 5 unique and new characters in the Star Wars universe with Jod and all 4 kids. Like, that is an absolute win for John Watts and his crew. So kudos to them. We've got 2 more episodes left, and on average, Harrison, our scores for this show so far, I'll tally up yours first. Because I mean, like, the show is doing a lot for us, both as Star Wars fans and just like fans of wanting like good TV on Disney Plus. Your average score right now is an 8.6 out of 10.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And my average score right now is probably going to be around the same based on my scores. Yeah, I'm an 8.63. You were an 8.58.
Yep.
So we're like pretty on par, which is pretty damn good. And I mean, in the next coming weeks, we'll have our overall review on Skeleton Crew. We'll have our overall review on Creature Commandos. We'll have an overall review on Squid Game Season 2. A whole lot is coming up streamer season, baby.
Oh, yeah.
But let us know how you're enjoying Skeleton Crew. If you're on the same page as us. If you're not on the same page as us, let us know and kind of fill us in on why you're enjoying, not enjoying, or you're indifferent to Skeleton Crew. And without any further ado, we're going to kick it back to myself and Christian as we get set for the next segment on the program. And our Skeleton Crew breakdown was brought to you by our friends over at PHI Apparel Company, our awesome merch partners. Guys, if you want to rep the most comfortable and badass hoodie you can, the StreamerSZN hoodie is available at PHI Apparel Company. Truly the best in the game. You want to stand out in the crowd, whether you're watching a movie at the movie theater, going and Netflix and chilling with your significant other. You want to be as comfortable as possible. PHI Apparel Company has you covered. Go to phiapparel.co, and when you go to checkout, use code Underground. You'll get 10% off your next merch order. That's code Underground at phiapparel.co for 10% off your next merch order, so that you can stand out in the crowd in 2025. Christian, Squid Game Season 2 has hit the mark yet again and has come to a close, leaves us on a big time cliffhanger. And I got to tell you, I wasn't ready for that final screen to pop up and say Squid Game the final season 2025. I was like, God damn it.
So I knew about the 2025 thing before I started. However, and we already talked about the first episode, but it was very early on in the show. There was this season's not that we are getting a full 6 games. We are getting a full 6 games because, as we'll talk about, we didn't complete the first game until the end of the 3rd episode, and there was 7. And I was sitting there, I'm like, there's no way this is ending. That we are not getting a full season, and we did not get a full season. Well, we got a full season, we didn't get a full game. Now, the real question is, and we'll talk about this, well, are they going to continue the game? But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, we got 6 episodes to break down, and there's some interesting notes that I want to bring up on some of these episodes. So
I will say, last week when we brought up whether or not homegirl that was pregnant, if her baby counted, they did bring that up in script.
yeah,
I was like, oh, we nailed that one. We got him. We got him.
and they also answered, does a dead body count?
Right. So yeah, let's get into it. Episode 2, titled Halloween Party. Gi-hoon, Jun-ho, and Woo-suk discover a lead from the recruiter's jacket pointing to a Halloween party. Woo-suk recruits a team of mercenaries. Gi-hoon implants a tracker in himself and his teeth, which I was like, oh my god, that looks painful.
No, thank you.
No thanks. And the 3 devise a plan to locate the front man. Meanwhile, Gi-hoon continues to look after Song-woo's mother and Chol. He works with a broker to reunite Chol with his mother from the north and places a silent call to his estranged daughter. The team infiltrates the Halloween party, where Gi-hoon is escorted by one of the game's pink-clad soldiers into a limousine, and with his team in pursuit, he confronts the front man via a nice little golden piggy bank speaker, demanding an end to the games. And when the vehicles following him are shot down, Gi-hoon requests to be returned to the games as a player. Kang Noel, a North Korean defector who seeks to extract her daughter from the north, enters the game as a soldier.
Oh, okay, so a series of things here. One, and my sister remarked on this because I got to watch the first 4 episodes with her when she was home. The Halloween setup is fucking brilliant.
Yes, so good.
No one will bat an eye. No one will bat an eye at 2 people in pink jumpsuits going somewhere. 0. 2. I know he bought the entire motel, but I don't know if that building is soundproofed enough to have a shooting range turned into an entire set of rooms.
Like, what? Like, how deep are those tunnels?
No, but see, here's the thing. I'm assuming that's all on an elevated 4. That he basically broke through because it looks like he broke through like multiple rooms, like broke down the walls between the rooms. So my question is, A, it's a shitty looking motel, so how is there enough soundproofing to not have neighbors go, what are all these gunshots going on?
That's true.
2, that mob henchman's such a fuck up. He's such an unbelievable fuck
idiot.
up. He's such an unbelievable fuck up.
God damn, he's such a moron.
Truly, like, listen, I appreciate you getting in the spirit of a costume, but you literally picked the worst possible mask in human history in terms of a horse mask.
Which it should have been a donkey mask because he's such a jackass.
Like you're already dumb. I know you don't see things as they are, but you really will be seeing things inside that fucking horse mask.
And he's just dancing like everyone in here has a mask on. Like, you dumbass.
2. Shall we talk about the artist?
The artist.
Who has the daughter.
Right. Yeah.
So set the scene on that, because I think this, and we'll get to it later, is maybe the most interesting, is one of the most interesting through lines heading into what this 3rd season will be.
Because this episode featured the daughter running in that room, right?
I believe so, and which I want to make sure of this. The woman who becomes a guard, which I'm going to get in on that in a second, is the one who worked at the park.
Yes, that's correct.
And I'll touch on this as the season goes along, but so there's this girl who has some rare type of cancer, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Her dad,
Cancer.
yeah, her dad is an artist who draws pictures of people at the park. The person who becomes a guard, do you want to get the name for me, or are we just going to call her number 11?
Yeah, we can just call her 11.
No, no, no. Let's call her guard 11.
Guard 11, yeah. Another iconic number 11 coming out of Netflix.
Do you think Netflix gave the creators a note and it's like, hey, so small idea here, mini branding opportunity here. How about you give this guard number 11? And we also have Stranger Things coming out, so maybe we can do some like 11/11 posts, like but you can't have the number 9 because we can't put the numbers 9 and 11 together.
You just gave us a great social post for the 11.
Yeah. And anyway, so, but she's from North Korea.
Correct.
Okay, so as soon as she went into that sea container and put on the mask, my mind instantly went to one of the salesman's speeches during Russian roulette in the first episode, when he talks about starting in the game as a guard, and at one point he's there and he has to shoot his own father. And given how and she's going to be faced with a similar situation, I feel, and I'll touch on it when we get to the next episode, but that's definitely going to be a thread that runs into this third season, because that speech is not a throwaway speech. That speech is not a throwaway speech, and this specific choice of putting someone on the inside and giving us their backstory, there's purpose behind that, and that's not going to, and with how well thought through the show is, that's not going to waste. So I think that's probably everything on episode 2. Do you want to jump to 3?
Yeah. So episode 3, titled 001 or 1. Gi-hoon wakes in the game's dormitory with 455 other players. A manager announces a new clause. After each game, the players will vote, and if the majority agrees to leave the games, the accumulated prize money will be divided among them. Jun-ho and his team lose track of the island as Gi-hoon's tracker has been removed.
Which that moment he realized was great. He's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, he was like, I'm fucked. That's like an all-time like screen grab with the captions up.
Meme it.
Gi-hoon recognizes player 390 as his friend Jung Bae, and advises him to stay close. The first game is a classic, red light, green light. And Gi-hoon warns the players that elimination will result in death, though many dismiss him. Despite the chaos, Gi-hoon's cautions help reduce casualties. Player 230, known as the rapper Thanos.
Okay. How quickly and easily can you make someone a villain?
Oh my god, I could not wait for him to get fucking murked between the eyeballs.
Well, he, as we get to, he didn't get it between the eyeballs. He got it in an even better way.
Yeah,
but anyway,
they went for the head.
Right. But anyway, Well, head and neck area. Though I don't think he ever made it to concussion protocol.
He is truly like the worst.
There was targeting involved, but I don't think he made it to the. I don't think he made it to the independent neurologist giving where the targeting was.
Who gets out of concussion protocol first, Thanos or Jalen Hurts?
Tough choice.
Let us know in the comment section. Yeah, I went back and forth between Thanos and then the older guy, number 100, who just insisted on everyone still continuing to play. Those two were like my ultimate banes of existence this season.
So, my favorite thing from this episode, which made me go, "Oh, shut the fuck up," was when the crypto guy asks for his phone, and as soon as he mentioned crypto, I'm like, I need you to die instantly.
I was like, get this fucking guy out of here.
like crypto bro begging us for his phone. I'm like, get out.
Not even crypto bro, crypto YouTuber bro. Like, get him out of here.
Yeah, like I was the full Cary Grant meme. Get out. Get out. I was the full Cary Grant meme. I'm like, nope. And now he seems to be a half decent guy, but still, it's like, nope, don't like you.
Yeah, don't like you. He's like the Squid Game, like Mr. Beast, except Mr. Beast's controversies are still hidden under layers and layers of
NDAs.
Yeah. But Player 230, known as the rapper Thanos, I wonder how much Netflix had to pay to get used to Thanos.
So here's the thing. I don't know if you have to pay to be able to say the name. If you were to show something,
well, that's why I was like intrigued by like what clearances they had to go by, because obviously he had his nails painted like the colors of the Infinity Stones, all the stuff in that like cross case that were his drugs were Infinity Stone adjacent. So I was wondering if there was any dealings there with old Mickey Mouse.
Dealings there with the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse?
Yeah, Miska Muska, Thanos's Gonska. Thanos is under the influence of drugs and pushes others to eliminate them. Gi-hoon and player 120, named Hyun-ju, attempt to save an eliminated player who was only non-fatally shot, but Noel shoots the player dead.
But they did say that player was eliminated when he was shot.
That's true.
So technically,
which more and more like of that whole aspect of things unfolds in this show is when we see the eliminated players going and all that, which we'll get into. But after the game, Gi-hoon urges the players to vote the game's end and reveals he is the sole winner of a previous iteration. Players voting to continue are labeled with circles, and while those voting to leave are labeled X. The front man, posing as player 1, casts the deciding vote to continue.
My reaction during that was, oh no. It was so like you knew he would get involved in some way, but you didn't think it would be that way.
Right, or that quickly.
Yes.
It is fascinating because obviously going back to season 1, like the old man is player 1, and he's kind of he's an OG with this whole thing. It's fascinating that, you know, the front men end up being player 1
because they're the OGs. Yeah.
Noel's a fucking savage.
There are a few savages in the show, and a few people I was begging to die who seemingly haven't died, such as Miss Witchy fortune teller who I'm like, I need you to die
I need
tomorrow.
her gone too. Like between her, Thanos, and Player 100, I was like, y'all need to fucking get the fuck out of here. Like, I need these pink bastards to be like, all right, yeah, we've had enough of you. Ugh.
So
It's so
annoying.
funny how there was very few like villain-esque characters at this portion of season 1 compared to this season, where it's like, all right, we're just gonna throw the gauntlet at you and you're gonna hate a bunch of these people.
Like it's not even that they're it's not even that there's really villains as much as just like personalities you loathe.
Yes. I forget, did episode 3 show any of the players like going to get their organs stripped from them?
No.
Or was that the next episode?
I don't remember which episode. Or no, it may have been the end of this one or the start of no. I think it was the start of the next one.
Okay, because that was fascinating. We'll get into the next episode in a minute, but that was fascinating to me that like they didn't show too much of that going on, but you knew it was still going on, and it was like it made you kind of think of everything from season 1. Was like, were they actually full send like killing some of these people? Because now they're full send killing and they can't harvest any organs, which has been like the underlying like plot for the pink people, is like they're going and getting the organs of the dead, and you have some people getting buried alive in the caskets and everything so that their organs keep functioning. That was an interesting little twist that I feel like will probably get more spotlight in season 3. But it was fascinating that like that one scene shows like, yeah, all we could get was the eyeballs because everything else was too far gone.
Yeah, this show is like great ability to get superbly grim in the span of like 2 seconds, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
Should we go to episode 4?
There's one thing I want to touch on here where the roots of it start when she's looking through her scope and she thinks she's recognizing someone.
Mm-hmm.
Which I kind of teed this up, but the artist joins the game.
Yep.
And I feel like, because even though she said she's looking for her North Korean daughter,
mm-hmm.
I feel like she's going to have to end up shooting him, because we'll get to it in the end, but like he's one of the rebellions that was spared by the guards. Now, we don't know if she was the guard that spared him, but the point stands where this situation is going to happen. I think we can both agree on that. It's just a question of when, where, and how.
Mm-hmm.
And what will happen surrounding it, which I'm fascinated to see.
Yeah. I mean, this show is just, it's fucking brilliant.
I mean, it is pretty great source material, aka capitalism is shit.
Yeah. So going to episode 4, titled 6 Legs. Player 1 feigns an alliance with Gi-hoon and fabricates a story based in truth about his reason for joining the game. Player 333, named Myung-gi, is attacked by Thanos, and player 124, named Nam-gyu. Player 333 is our crypto bro. Player 1 intervenes and stops the altercation easily. Player 222, named Kim Jun-hee, and Myung-gi's pregnant ex-girlfriend, reveals herself to him. Meanwhile, a group of soldiers, led by the officer, begin harvesting organs to sell on the black market. The officer orders Noelle to ignore the activities, but she refuses. That scene was one of the coolest scenes of the season so far, was when those two are in that room together and Noelle is just like, nah, fuck you, pay me. I'm here to do my job.
Yeah. This episode was great at setting the groundwork for what's to come. Mm-hmm. In terms of her conflict with everyone else, and kind of the half-truth of everything, in terms of player 1 telling a story which we had kind of heard before from his brother, who still refuses to admit that the reason he's going looking is to get back to his brother and be like, why the fuck are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And he basically says a story which sounds exactly like what happened, but you're also like, I don't know if I even fully believe him.
Right.
Which is sick.
Insane.
But it's also brilliant.
Yeah. Jun Ho attempts to enlist police assistance, but is unsuccessful. And to Gi-hoon's surprise, the second game requires players to form teams of 5 for a 6-legged pentathlon.
Which I would just like us to really appreciate his bad dream.
Yes.
Where he's convincing everyone of Triangle, and then he goes to Triangle, and it's the most horrific triangle
ever
you've ever seen. You're just like, oh no.
When I saw that, I was like, please don't be real. Please don't be real.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh no, not like this.
And the 6-legged pentathlon consists of 5 children's games. Jockey, which is the game that we see the recruiter playing with people in the subway, where they have to flip over the like color squares and everything. I'm totally gonna butcher the names of these things.
It's fine.
Apologies already. Bisak Chigi, which is the throwing or kicking of rocks. That was the game where they were tossing the rock at the other one. Gongji, which is the one where they were catching all the colored kind of like pebbles. Jeggy, which is the like hacky sack kind of game, and then Spinning Top. And all of those had to be completed under a 5-minute time limit. Noelle continues her sabotage.
Or else death.
Or otherwise death. Noelle continues her sabotage of the soldiers' organ trade by shooting living eliminated players dead. Which to me, when that all happens, it's like, okay, were they actually like full send killing most of these people in season 1? Or because we find out they have those like ID detectors later on, like, did they know, like, okay, shoot that person where they stay alive so we can get their organs out of them?
That's grim to think about.
Right. But it's like she's doing all of this to sabotage so much. And when you see them trying to get organs out of these dead people and they're no good already and they're barely dead, I'm like, what the fuck did she do to fucking mutilate them that much? But it is an interesting, like, underlying story to all of this and just this fascinating plot line that's almost like a game within the game.
It's all about the game and how you play it. My God, is that Pat Pitt's music? Anyway.
Also very grim when Gi-hoon's crew is doing the pentathlon, and it's like, yeah, it's better that we don't have anybody watching us.
Yeah. What was probably the most grim for me was just those poor guys who knew they were dead, and we just us having to watch them like, oh no.
And then they're just like, we'll see you on the other side, and then you see them and they're getting fucking mowed down. This goddamn show, guys. This goddamn show.
It's so mean.
It's so mean. Episode 5. One more game.
It's always one more game.
Always one more.
I was saying this to the people I was watching the show with, but it's like this entire show is just built on like people being degenerate gamblers, and it's just like, I still win. I still can't win. Like, one more game and I break even. One more game. It's like, Christ, get help.
Every time that they were like, oh, we'll just play one more. It's like, guys, there's a number for that. Especially for number 7. His mom wanted to kill him. After Hyunju's team manages to win through mutual support, many other teams are inspired and succeed. Gi-hoon allies with Jungbae, Junhee, and players 1 and 388, Kang Dae-ho. They succeed and exchange names after the game, though player 1 falsely introduces himself as Oh Young Il. Noelle is attacked by 2 soldiers involved in the organ trade who warn her to stop interfering. During the following vote, player 1 encourages the players to vote against continuing the game, but a larger majority opts to proceed, believing the prize pool remains too small. Gi-hoon confides in Jung-bae about his growing uncertainty in rescuing everyone. Meanwhile, Jun-ho and Woo-suk, now with an expanded mercenary team, continue their search for the island, and the third game, titled Mingle, requires players to enter designated rooms after forming groups based on an announced number.
Truly a diabolical game.
Insane game. Just insane. Like pure nightmare fuel. Once again, Noelle is a certified savage. As I watched this episode, I was like, she's going to have such a massive role in however long this show continues, because she just does not give a fuck about the rules of what she's supposed to be doing.
A lot of them don't give a fuck, if we're being honest.
Yeah. But she just is willing to fuck your life up no matter who you are, and she's just there for her personal reasons. Which I think it's also fascinating that she's like the first one we saw get recruited to be a soldier.
Yeah.
So you get like the duality there. Also the one guy that Jun-ho and Woo-suk recruit, that was like the Navy captain or whatever he was. That dude is he could snap at any minute and just betray them immediately.
It'll be interesting to see when it finally happens.
Yeah. Anything else from episode 5?
Anything else from episode 5? It really set us up, especially with the ending of okay, where are we gonna how are we gonna wrap this up? And oh boy.
Yeah, which moves us to episode 6, titled OX. And during Mingle, players struggle to fit their alliances into rooms, causing tension, betrayal, and death of allies. In the final round, Jung-bae witnesses player 1 kill another player to secure a room for themselves, which goes to show you dead players do not count. After the game, Gi-hoon and player 1 argue over whether to persuade other players to vote to end the games, and ultimately decide against it to avoid a physical fight. During the vote, several players, including player 125, who has been subservient to Thanos and Nam-gyu, changed their vote to X. The deciding vote again falls to player 1, resulting in a tie, and the players are given a day before re-voting. In the bathroom, Thanos and Nam-gyu pressure player 125, named Min-soo, into changing his vote to O, but Myung-gi and other players that voted X intervene to defend him. A fight ensues, with Thanos strangling Myung-gi, who then fatally stabs Thanos with a fork. He remembered Thanos said you should have gone for the head, and that he did. Went right through his throat.
He went for the neck area. Targeting. Number... What was his number?
That was, I believe, player... I thought it wasn't it the crypto bro?
Yeah.
So it's 333.
Targeting number 333. 15 minutes in the penalty box. No ejection because he's a piece of shit. No one will miss him. Resume play.
He gone.
Bang!
Meanwhile, Jun-ho's team locates a possible entrance on an island, only to discover it is a decoy rigged with explosives, killing one of the mercenaries. This episode was fucking crazy. Just start to finish, just so much insane shit. From watching the full game of Mingle to seeing now, I forget the one player that the transgender player like is devastated, and then I looked it up and I remembered that they were on the same like pentathlon team, so that's why they were disappointed and very upset about that.
Which there's a fun nugget when we get to the final episode, which I'm like, whoa, hold on a minute.
Now, I did read up on this too, because the transgender player in the game is not played by a transgender actor. I did read that the creators and everything of the show really wanted to like cast somebody who was transgender for the role, but in Korea it is like very frowned upon, so they couldn't really find anyone that was willing to like put themselves in a spotlight like that. But they were like very attention to detail, like actively seeking somebody. Just in Korean culture, it's unfortunately frowned upon to be transgender. Shall we move to the finale episode of season 2, Christian?
We shall.
Friend or foe?
The snake finally strikes.
Captain Park. Talk about a snake.
This finale is great because it gave us so many questions, but also made us go, So we have these little through lines that we know are going to should be answered, and it's just going to make us crave this next season even more. So hit it.
Captain Park of Junho's team is revealed to be a double agent, having sabotaged their drone. I was so disappointed that he was a piece of shit.
See, I was... It almost makes more sense given they haven't found anything for all they're trying, and that he's the one who picked them up. It's like, shenanigans.
I was like, this scumbag piece of shit. I was so disappointed that he was a scumbag double agent. Following the bathroom brawl, players realize they can kill others to raise the prize pool and weaken the opposing voters. A little self-sabotage.
Capitalism.
Gi-hoon convinces a small group of ex-players to avoid attacking, arguing that the true enemies are the game's creators, and during a violent dorm massacre, Gi-hoon's group stays hidden as the rest of the X group receives heavy losses, and they emerge only when soldiers arrive. Gi-hoon's group baits the soldiers, killing all but one and taking their firearms. They start a rebellion and force the surviving soldier to lead them to the control room. However, more soldiers open fire en route, and the rebellion starts to falter when the group runs out of ammunition. I couldn't believe Buddy had PTSD and could not bring back the magazines.
I mean, I can believe it.
I can, but I was like, this man was flaunting that he was in the Marines this whole time. And
even though
smallest bit of adversity, he crumbled. Daeho, tasked with retrieving more ammo, suffers a panic attack and is unable to return. Player 1 betrays the group, killing 2 players and faking his death, while other surrendering players are executed. Gi-hoon and Jung-bae are taken captive. In-ho, now masked as the front man, kills Jung-bae in front of a horrified Gi-hoon.
He doesn't know. What I will be interested in seeing is, will player 1 be back in the game? Well, no, because technically Jung-bae thinks he's dead.
Right.
Which, even then, it was like, But at the same time, we were waiting, and waiting, and we're like, he's got to do it at some point. We know this betrayal is coming. We just don't know when. And just the decision to finally pull the trigger, A+.
Quite literally. And I will say, in season 1, a lot of the deaths, like, it was like, okay, like, you kind of saw them coming, and like they were unfortunate. Jung Bae getting killed right in front of Gi-hoon was diabolical.
Though I will say, probably like the 4th or 5th episode, I turned to the person sitting next to me and I went, "Why do I feel like he's gonna die?" Because like it was going too well. This game's too cruel to allow him to live. So it's just a question of when.
It was so unfortunate. Yeah, and I mean, we get I want to pull up their name, the transgender player. Player 120. We find out that they were in the RKO Special Forces.
And you're just like, oh, okay.
Okay.
You are on the do not fuck with list. Okay.
Yeah. Unfuckwittable.
Easy there, Fitty.
I like their character a lot.
Yes,
they were a good addition to this season.
Tis a well-crafted character.
I think this season did a lot of good with casting and a lot of good, like, just like character involvement. Like the mother-son dichotomy was very fun.
Yeah, we barely talked about them, but her just like cold shouldering him after him voting, it was just so great. It was so great.
So good. Player 100, I still can't believe he's alive. That piece of shit.
Oh, he's dying very quickly. I think, but I think the one thing we do have to talk about here is, and I touched on this at the front, are we going to actually get this game continuing with everyone who's left?
That's a good point.
Because that's what it feels like they're going to do. But I don't trust them to do that. But it would also kind of make sense given there's still people left in the game, and that most of those people are probably the owers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would make sense in a way for them to still want to play the game because they'll have better odds, and then their game builder's fallacy will kick in, etc., etc.
Now the other interesting thing too is I was kind of surprised that they didn't put the guy in the motorcycle from episode 1 into the game.
I thought they did.
Did they?
So maybe this is like me blending 15 million characters together at this point, because for a hot minute, in my brain, the guy on the bike was the guy who was in the subway who got the call from the girl in the pregnancy clinic. But then it was like, but the girl from the pregnancy clinic was in the game because they were both given cards.
Mm-hmm.
But then was the guy in the subway actually the crypto bro? And this is where I go, I don't want to sound racist, but my sister said it and was like, too many motherfuckers look alike. It was my sister who said it first, not me.
And I mean, we did see Gyung Suk get shot towards the end. Like, he was part of that rebellion group, and we obviously, it appears he's dead, but there's still a chance that he returns and didn't get fatally shot. But you have to imagine that number 11's the one that murked him.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see the big dogs upstairs if they come into fruition in this.
I mean, if this game continues, they will. But in that same line of thinking, will they actually find the island?
Right.
Because I think those two things go hand in hand. Big dogs showing up and the island being found, and this game continuing, and the whole is she faced with shooting the artist?
Mm-hmm.
Like
and
we have
does Jung Ho like survive knowing the captain's a double agent, and like who actually is this captain of the ship that's helping them try to attempt to quote unquote find the island, and he's obviously taking them in circles.
Yeah.
It's like who is that guy really?
Who's that guy? Whoa.
My question for you: how many episodes do you think season 3 will be?
Interesting question. So, let's think this through for a second. If the first season was 9, and that was a full set of games, and him getting out and back in and all that, and given the pace they went at this past season, and given that they'd done half of the games,
because they did red light, green light, they did the pentathlon, and they did the merry-go-round,
and they still have to do the vote as well, because they technically never did the vote,
right?
Even though I'm pretty sure we know how that vote's going to go anyway. But I'm going to say
what, 3 more games.
3 more, yes, but going down in time progressively, one would argue. So I'm going to say it's a floor of 5 and a ceiling of 7.
Yeah, I was going to say another 7. Because I think you have, obviously, like, if they continue the games, you have those that continue on. You have now the introduction of, like, the big dogs upstairs are more than likely going to get revealed again. And you have the whole plot line of Jung Ho and his crew and the captain and everything still going on. And I think you still have a lot more to dive into with the relationship between number 11 and kind of the admin guy that's in the black jumpsuit with the pink mask.
Yeah.
There's a lot that can still be unpacked in season 3. So I think I was even saying, 7 to 8 episodes could be in the works depending on how they want to pace it. But I mean, the more of this show you want to give us, the better.
Yep. Keep giving us more, guys, and we'll happily take it.
Who do you think survives overall? Is it just going to be Gi-hoon?
So this is the fun question of, so Gi-hoon will be there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can both agree on that. It's a question of who's there with him.
Right.
And his friend's dead. I don't think Crypto Bro makes it.
Yeah, I don't think he ends up making it.
I don't know if the transport person makes it, even though they seem like arguably the most likely, because I don't think any of the other X's that are still alive, and any of the O's that are still alive are well defined enough at this point.
I think I think player 120, who's the transgender player, I think they're going to be set up for one of those like agonizing, like, oh, what the fuck type of moments where it's like they're doing well and like getting through, and then out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't think any of the other characters up to this point have made a strong enough case, because the son and mom are done. Like they aren't going to make it to the end.
I feel like there's still so many questions about Witch Lady too. Like she's
No,
out of her
no.
fucking gourd.
Yeah, but she's shown no prominence in any semblance of anything that makes me go, yeah, she's gonna be successful and do everything. You know, like no, like I don't buy her for shit.
Now here's the real question too: if they find the island, does Jung Ho and his crew then become the new like rebellion with Gi-hoon and whoever's alive? Is that
I don't know
like
if we
his backup like mercenaries?
see. I don't know what happens when they get to the island, because I think it's safe to assume that they get to the island. It's just what happens when they get to the island is the bigger question. Because I don't know. Like there's going to be a military invasion, but there's probably going to be traps set and shit. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, like your guess is probably as good as mine, in all honesty.
And then, being that season 3 is the final season of this iteration of Squid Game, because there's a rumor that they're going to do an American-based one as well,
directed by David Fincher, which I'm just like, why, guys? Please no.
Does the game end?
In some way, shape, or form, it will. Like, I definitely don't think that we're getting anyone fully surviving. Like,
I don't think Gi-hoon's going to turn into a player 1.
Yeah, no. Like we're facing a spot where either he ends up dying, or he ends up finding his way out, and the whole thing gets and the whole thing gets broken, and we end up having how do I put this? The whole thing gets broken. He either survives or doesn't, and it's like, if he survives, he learns of the American one going on, and then that leads us into the next thing. If they want to bring Lee Jung-jae in for that, or basically he dies, they get there too late, and one thing they end up doing is he ends up the cop ends up getting information from his brother about the American game, and that's how we end up there. Like, I think those are the two likely endings for this.
Yeah, I think we could see Gi-hoon survive, and I think Jung Ho survives, the cop whose brother is player 1.
Yeah.
Which I would like, because I like both of their characters, obviously. The real question, too, I think, comes into play of, like, which one of the bigwigs upstairs in Korea is running the American game. Because I feel like that was kind of teased in season 1, is like all these masked freaks up here are kind of running a similar game in their respective country.
These masters of the universe.
Yeah, these scumbags. Anything else on Squid Game season 2, Christian, before we get to our scores?
Not really, no. Just damn good season of TV.
Yeah, it was crazy. Looking at the Rotten Tomatoes scores on the critic reviews, 82% of critics reviews were positive, with an average rating of 7.2 out of 10.
I mean, I don't think it's as good as the first season, but still pretty damn good. I don't know.
I think they did a lot of good, like, building off of the foundation that they set in season 1.
Yeah, I don't know. 8 is it's a high 8 for me. I'm struggling to figure out where I place it. That's the only thing. What's your thought on it?
I think I'm with you. I think I'm gonna go 8.8.
8.8 from the Kyle.
Like very entertaining. And like I said, I think they did a great job like building upon the foundation. I think they did a great job of telling multiple storylines in this season. And I think the only thing kind of missing is just the fact that we don't have season 3 yet.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I'm gonna go 8.8.
Oh, I was gonna say 8.6. Which it feels low to say 8.6, and I hate that I'm saying that, but I'm also like, it doesn't feel too wrong either. It just feels weird.
It's almost like an incomplete because it feels like season 3 is going to be season 2.5.
That's a good way of putting it.
Like it's one of those things that Netflix has been doing over the past couple of years where it's like splitting up seasons and releasing them at different times to kind of capitalize on one IP and having big jumbo release dates twice in a year rather than once.
Which, if we're being honest, is really what this season feels like.
Yeah. But I mean, 8.7 is pretty damn good for the overall score. It is now the second highest rated or third highest rated show we have watched this year. Or actually, it's so that goes in the books for 2024.
True.
Because it came out in 2024. Which Skeleton Crew and Creature Commandos will also fall in. But for our 2024 shows, it only falls behind The Penguin and X-Men 97.
True that.
And House of the Dragon season 2, but there's no overall score for that. It's just my score. So,
good old Hot D, as I like to call it, Hot D.
The old Hot DS2. But yeah, Squid Game season 2 was very fun. Very excited for season 3 whenever it decides to drop in 2025.
So I'm already going to wager, I guess here, and it's not as much of a guess as much as I know how much of the year we can eliminate. This show is not coming out until July at the earliest.
Which, I'll do you one better, it's probably going to be the same time it came out for this season.
Yeah.
I think they'll do another Christmas release because I think Stranger Things is going to come out in the summer.
Yes, but the reason I'm being less specific is because this. The how do I put this? With how releases work specifically with the awards window, because the Emmys are goofy as fuck and they basically stop their awards window in the middle of the year. I forget if it's end of June, I think, is when the awards window for the prior year wraps. So shows try and come out if they're really trying to squeeze in for the Emmys in June. So at the earliest, the show will be in July because you don't want to have two Squid Game seasons operating in the same window. Because that's bad for awards. Because you then have two award seasons and you're not optimizing your opportunities.
Yeah, because I'm like trying to think. Because typically, Stranger Things is the type of show that likes to drop around a holiday, just for
Memorial Day,
which is where I was thinking. Like Memorial Day might be Stranger Things finale season, right at the start of summer. That could be the case.
Could be.
and then that opens the window for like late June, early July for Squid Game season 3 or something like that. But yeah, let us know how you felt about Squid Game season 2, your expectations for season 3, maybe some things we missed in our breakdown. Leave it in the YouTube comment section. Potentially by the time this episode drops, our voicemail line will be open. So you can also leave us a voicemail, which will be speakpipe.com/StreamerSZN. But Christian, I think without any further ado, before we get to everybody's favorite segment, our Squid Game breakdown was brought to you by our friends at Shopify. Shopify, guys, it's the new year. You want to get your business going in the right direction and making sure that everything is running smoothly. Shopify is the place to do it. They are the #1 commerce and e-commerce company out there to make sure that your business is running smoothly, whether it's online or in person. And right now, Shopify is doing a $1 paid trial creative. So enjoy a free 3-day trial, then start selling for $1 a month for your first 3 months. Explore, build, and bring your business to life at your own pace with Shopify. That's right. Click the link in the description and you can enjoy a free 3-day trial, then start selling for $1 a month for your first 3 months with our friends at Shopify. You want to make sure that 2025 is the year your business booms, then start doing it with Shopify. Use our link in the description and start selling with our friends at Shopify. And now, without any further ado, let's get to everybody's favorite segment. It is the streaming platform Multiverse News and Notes, brought to you by friends over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, only 120 calories, and just 8 grams of carbs. Go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Maryland, New Jersey, and Delaware areas. You can also find Kenwood Beer at your local liquor stores in those markets. Once again, use the Kenny Finder at kenwoodbeer.com to see who's got it on tap or in local liquor stores in the available markets that Kenwood Beer is in. Must be 21 or older to do so. And of course, please drink responsibly. I don't know how much we can trust our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here, Christian, but Andrew Garfield says he's not attached to return for Spider-Man 4. Quote, but I know no one's going to trust anything I say from now on.
I mean, I don't know if we even know anything about Spider-Man 4 aside from Tom being back and Tom being more involved in it. So it's like, I don't know, because remember, no one's supposed to know who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
So we're starting from ground zero here. So she's like, I don't know.
Speaking of Tom Holland, he says he recently stopped a fight between 2 men in a grocery store, and one of them recognized me. You could see the wheels turning like, I'm really angry, but Spider-Man is telling me to calm down.
I'm just imagining that mental image in my head, and I'm chuckling.
Americans spent 23% less on streaming services in 2024.
I wonder why.
I wonder why, everyone.
What else do we have?
Oh, I answered our question about Squid Game season 3. According to Netflix Korea, Squid Game season 3 reportedly releases June 27th.
So I guess the Emmy window is May?
Netflix Korea posted and then deleted a YouTube video about it.
Oh, okay. On my side of the news, rest in peace, Jimmy Carter. I encourage everyone to go online because all this is public and look through the logs of what Jimmy Carter watched at the White House in terms of what movies he watched in the White House screening room. There was some elite stuff there, including notably a double feature of Casablanca and Young Frankenstein.
Jimmy Carter, man of class. Speaking of Jimmy Carter, I'm sending you a meme right now that I stumbled upon that I also sent to Harrison, to which his reaction was, Jesus Christ.
Speaking of Jesus Christ, what the fuck's going on with the Batman 2?
Lord carry us now.
I don't know where you find this stuff, Kyle.
It makes its way to me. What can I say? Yeah, what is going on with the Batman 2? I'm not nervous, but I'm concerned. Like we haven't hit Blade levels of concern, but we're meme. We're like barely we're like in the middle of the green of concern.
We're never gonna hit Blade levels of concern over this movie. James Gunn isn't too much control.
Speaking of DC, I'm sure you'll get a kick out of this.
Lobo.
Well, that. But Bill Skarsgård was asked about DC. He said he would be down to play Batman, Joker, or both. Thinks he could play a, quote, fucking cool Joker. Says Heath Ledger's Joker is the greatest ever. And shuts down the rumor he was in talks to play Lex Luthor in Superman.
How about we make you Alfred instead?
I don't hate that.
I don't hate it either. In terms of the Prestige world, Damien Chazelle's next movie will be Evel Knievel on Tour, starring Leonardo DiCaprio as Evel Knievel, which is a choice. And also Paul Thomas Anderson movie Punted, not Punted, I don't know. I've been on a range of emotions over, is it in 2026? Is it? I don't know, but PTA was recently quoted saying, I need to start figuring out what the fuck to say regarding the rumors and concerns around his next film. Which, please just say you punted it to like October and I'll be happy and move on with my life.
We got our first logo for the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, and it looks fucking badass.
Oh no, okay. The franchise has been canceled by HBO after one season. No shit, Sherlock.
Tom Holland also says his favorite movie is James Cameron's Avatar. Quote, I take no shame in saying it.
I don't know what to think about that.
You're so torn.
Because it's the worst James Cameron movie to pick if you're trying to show you have taste.
Tom's just trying to pitch his way into an Avatar movie. Come on, we know that.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's room in Avatar 6 at this point, so I don't know. We'll see.
This comes from Collider. Keanu Reeves filmed his Secret Level episode with a broken kneecap. Quote, he shot for 13 hours straight with a brace and he doesn't leave set. He just nips out, has a cigarette, comes back in and says, let's go again. Amazing human being.
Truly an amazing human being.
Did you see this? We'll put it in post, but did you see this video Culture Crave posted it from Jake Cooper 997 on TikTok? It says raising that baby right, and it's this like infant, and it says no Coco Melon in this house, and they're just watching Godzilla vs King Kong.
In non-streaming news but gaming news, there was an interesting conversation in a clip I saw between some game developers saying that game studios are afraid to date movies right now because they want to stay out of the way of GTA 6. So they're just refusing to date their games until GTA 5 officially has a date. So GTA 6 officially has a date.
That's insane.
It is hilarious. It's so funny.
Speaking of gaming news, a Master Chief and Doomslayer crossover episode was pitched for Secret Level. Microsoft said, nah.
Sounds about right.
It's 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. The MCU will release 9 projects this year, Christian.
Sounds like about 4 too many, but okay.
You tell me your order of importance / anticipation here. January 29th, we get Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Doesn't matter.
February 14th, we get Captain America Brave New World.
Extremely concerned.
March 4th, we get Daredevil Born Again.
We'll probably be fine.
May 2nd, we get Thunderbolts Asterisk.
Please, dear God, be good. I'm begging you.
June 24th, we get Ironheart.
Don't give a fuck.
July 25th, The Fantastic Four First Steps.
God bless you, Vanessa Kirby, but I need to see an actual trailer for this before I say anything.
August 6th, we get Eyes of Wakanda.
Again, it's similar to any Disney animated thing. I don't care.
October 3rd, we get Marvel Zombies.
See prior statement.
And at some point in December, we get Wonder Man.
I've literally seen 10 seconds of it. Give me a trailer and I'll have something to say.
Let's see. Aaron Pierre says he's constantly doing research for his role as Jon Stewart and watching the animated shows.
Love it.
I'm very meticulous. I really want to leave no stone unturned. He's also entered the training phase.
Love it. Love to see it, folks. Love to see it.
Just a couple days ago, by the time you guys are listening to this, happy 29th birthday to my Lord and Savior Florence Pugh.
Oh.
Jim Carrey says he's open to returning as Dr. Robotnik for Sonic 4.
Please read the quote. Please read the quote. It's great. It's so great.
I'm definitely open to the idea. Generally, they come to me with the next idea, and if it sounds fun, I'll do it. I certainly love this crew, and I love the fans. There's a lot of really great energy around it.
That's not the quote I was thinking of.
Let me see if I can get the other quotes here.
There was a quote about, like, him having money for his kids or something. Oh, whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, didn't have it. I fumbled the bag. What can I say?
I mean, I have a gigantic segment to end news and notes, so if you have anything else.
I have a couple more things here.
Okay.
We have our most pirated TV series of 2024.
Well, it can't be Squid Game because I don't think there's been enough time to make it the most pirated.
It was House of the Dragon.
Makes sense.
House of the Dragon was number 1. The Boys was number 2. Shogun was number 3. Arcane was number 4. The Penguin was number 5. Fallout was number 6. Reacher was number 7. Silo was number 8. Dune Prophecy was number 9. And Halo was number 10. Sad news here. Somebody who grew up on this show and is still a major proponent of this entire IP. The Thomas and Friends series creator Britt Allcroft has passed away at the age of 81.
Sad.
Looking here. Walter White's house from Breaking Bad is now up for sale for $4 million.
All right, guys, let's script together a GoFundMe.
The house averages 300 visitors a day. The owners had to put up a fence after calling in a bomb squad over a mystery package. People have regularly been scammed into thinking they rented it out. One person even showed up in a Speedo after paying a scammer thousands to swim in the pool. Quote, I hope they make it what the fans want. They want an Airbnb. They want a museum. They want access to it. Go for it.
You know?
Robert Pattinson's trainer confirms he's been lifting and doing martial arts to prepare for the Batman 2.
Exciting news whenever we get it.
All the Indiana Jones movies are back on Disney Plus in the US.
Great.
Jake Lloyd says he's finally feeling pretty good after an 18-month stint in rehab to manage schizophrenia. He's still a huge Star Wars fan, just beat The Force Unleashed, and plans to binge some of the newer projects for Star Wars Day. He says the fan support for him has been immediately therapeutic. If you don't know who Jake Lloyd is, he is young Anakin Skywalker from the prequels. So it's good to hear that he's doing much better. And the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise has now crossed $1 billion at the worldwide box office.
Good for them.
What is your big news for us, Christian, to close out news and notes here?
Well, Sunday's the Golden Globes. So I'd like us to just do a big awards rundown here, where I'm going to throw some predictions out here. Best Motion Picture Drama: The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nickel Boys, September 5. I've seen 4 of these 6. The only reason I haven't seen 2 of them is because they literally haven't come out in theaters yet. I want The Brutalist to win. I don't trust it to win. It's either going to be The Brutalist or Conclave. I refuse to give a prediction on that. Best Picture Musical or Comedy: Anora, Challengers, Amelia Perez, A Real Pain, The Substance, and Wicked. I have seen all 6. I want Anora to win. I think Anora should win. I have a bad feeling that the piece of shit movie Amelia Perez, which I don't understand how people actually like it, Kyle. Like I challenge you to watch that film. It's
what is it?
True. Amelia Perez. It's on Netflix. Zoe Saldana, great in it. That movie makes no sense, where it's a crime musical about a lawyer played by Zoe Saldana who helps a Mexican drug kingpin get transgender surgery, and then they end up working together after there being time apart of helping reunite, of helping the people who helping the people who had their loved ones killed by him, her, helping their bodies found and grief. And it's like, first of all that's messy. Secondly, why is this a musical? Third, there's literally a song where it's like just full of a bunch of different transgender surgeries. I'm like, what? Like, it's like a big what the fuck was happening? How is this happening? Movie. I challenge you to watch it. Like, if this was just like a straight drama, like, okay, it's weird, but like the fact it's a musical, I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? So, yeah, best animated feature: Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Moana 2, The Wild Robot, Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul. I've seen 4 of these 6. I refuse to watch Moana 2 on principle. I still have to watch Wallace and Gromit, but it literally just came out on Netflix, so I'll be seeing it. The Wild Robot will most likely win. I would enjoy seeing a Flow win, however. Non-English language feature: All We Imagine As Light from India, Paris from France, The Girl with the Needle from Poland, Sweden, and Denmark. I'm still to hear from Brazil, Seed of the Sacred Fig from Germany, Vermiglio from Italy. Amelia Perez probably wins this in a cakewalk, sadly. Best action, best performance motion picture drama on the actor side: Adrian Brody in The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown, Daniel Craig as Queer, Coleman Domingo in Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes in Conclave, Sebastian Stan in The Apprentice. What happens here will probably tell us something about the best actor race for the Oscar. It's Adrian Brody versus Timothy Chalamet and Coleman Domingo. Which one of those 3 wins will start to tell us about what's going to happen at the Oscars. In terms of the actress side: Pamela Anderson for The Last Showgirl, Angelina Jolie for Maria, Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl, Tilda Swinton for Room Next Door, Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here, and Kate Winslet for Lee. I don't know what happens here. This feels like the spot where the Globes do the Globes and they give it to Angelina Jolie or Nicole Kidman, even though Angelina Jolie is rapidly losing momentum in the awards conversation. I would enjoy a Fernanda Torres win, or also a Kate Winslet win would be the most like, okay, we're just running a stealth campaign here and she'll sneak her way into the Oscar. Best Actor, Motion Picture Comedy. Jesse Eisenberg in A Real Pain, Hugh Grant in Heretic, and one of the most delicious roles you will see as Hugh Grant is doing his freak phase. Gabriel LaBelle in Saturday Night, Jesse Plemons in Kinds of Kindness, a movie I objectively hate. I loathed that movie, but it was a bad year for comedy, so shrug. Glenn Powell in Hitman, yes please. Sebastian Stan in A Different Man. This is an interesting spot where Hugh Grant has had late-breaking momentum here, and Sebastian Stan has had momentum, but not necessarily for this specific performance, where Glenn Powell originally was the one who was seen in the driver's seat to win this. Watch out for Hugh Grant to potentially take this one. Best Actress in Musical or Comedy. Amy Adams for Night Bitch. Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. Carlos Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison for Nora, Demi Moore for The Substance, Zendaya for Challengers. This is I'm gonna roughly call it a 4-person race, even though I really think it's closer to 2 between Erivo, Gascon, Madison, and Demi Moore. Gascon's lost a lot of momentum over the last month or so, and it's really Mikey Madison versus Demi Moore, I think, right now. I would like to see Mikey Madison win, but with how the Globes globe, I think it may just be Demi Moore. Am I boring you with my monologuing here over movies?
Not at all.
Best Supporting Performance, because they don't distinguish genre. Supporting Actor. Your Borisov for Nora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice, Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2. What's kind of shaping up here is Kieran Culkin versus Guy Pearce for the Oscar at this moment. That's kind of where things are shaping up to be. Kieran Culkin, widely perceived as the favorite at this moment, though Guy Pearce, as The Brutalist actually starts playing in theaters, may build its momentum. Currently, I would go with Kieran Culkin. Supporting Actress, which is this is just a clusterfuck of a category. Selena Gomez for Emilia Perez, which she's not great in that. Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Margaret Qualley for The Substance, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave. This probably goes to Ariana, even though I didn't love her in it. I would enjoy Margaret Qualley or Felicity Jones, but is what it is. Best Director, Jacques Audiard, Emilia Perez, Sean Baker, Nora, Edward Berger, Conclave, Brittany Corbett, Brutalist, Corey Farjat, The Substance, Payo Kapadia, All We Imagine Is Light. This probably goes to Audiard, Baker, or Corbett. Really depends how the rest of the night falls. I'd like to see Baker win it, but I feel like Audiard may sneak it, though The Brutalist and Brady Corbett winning would be notable. Screenplay, Jacques Audiard, Emilia Perez, Sean Baker, Nora, Brady Corbett, Brutalist, Jesse Eisenberg, Real Pink, Corey Farjat, The Substance, Peter Strawn, Conclave. I feel like this is probably the closest thing to a Sean Baker win that we're guaranteed to. So that nominated for Score, Conclave, Brutalist, Wilder, Emilia Perez, Challengers, Doom Part 2. The Brutalist is probably the front-running favorite right now, though I would enjoy a Challengers win. The dumbest category in all of awards, cinematic and box office achievement, Anonymous, Beetlejuice, Deadpool, Wolverine, Gladiator 2, Inside Out 2, Twisters, Wicked, Wilderbot. This is either going to Wicked or Deadpool and Wolverine, whichever one they will give less awards to. If Wicked's not really winning anything, it'll go to Wicked. If Wicked's winning some stuff, it'll go to probably Deadpool and Wolverine. And Best Song, Beautiful That Way from Last Showgirl, Complex Riri from Challengers, Elmo from Emilia Perez, Forbidden Road for Better Man, Kiss the Sky from The Wild Robot, and Me Camino from Emilia Perez. This is between Kiss the Sky and El Mal. At this moment, I would guess it ends up being El Mal, but Kiss the Sky is a great number 2, and that's the movies. Do you want to quickly touch on TV? Because there's a good number of streaming things. On the drama side for Best Drama, The Day of the Jackal, really fun show, Kyle. I would suggest you watch that. It's on Peacock. The Diplomat, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Shogun, Slow Horses, Squid Game. Shogun Sweep next. Musical or comedy? Abbott Elementary, The Bear, The Gentleman, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, and Only Murders in the Building. I don't think Nobody Wants This has the momentum to win it. I think this is probably Abbott Elementary versus Hacks for who gets it. I don't know which really. Limited series, anthology, motion picture made for TV, Baby Reindeer, Disclaimer, The Penguin, Ripley, True Detective, Night Country, Monsters. The interesting part about this is the Penguin throwing a spanner in the works, because Baby Reindeer was beating the crap out of everything, even though Ripley does deserve love. Throwing the Penguin in here may finally end Baby Reindeer's reign, and it won't get the Golden Globe to basically complete its sweep of every TV award under the sun. No one cares about the step up, cares about the stand-up special award, though it would be funny if the person hosting the Golden Globes, Nikki Glaser, wins for her comedy special, because I really enjoy her handing the award to herself as a fun joke. Best performance in dramas, Donald Glover, Mr. and Miss Smith, Jake Gyllenhaal, Presumed Innocent, Gary Oldman, Slow Horses, Eddie Redmayne, Day of the Jackal, Billy Bob Thornton, and Landman, and the guy who's going to win it because he's going to sweep Hiroyuki Sanada for Shogun, an actress, Kathy Bates and Matlock, Emma D'Arcy in House of Dragon, Maya Erskine for Mr. and Miss Smith, Keira Knightley, Black Doves, Carrie Russell, The Diplomat, Anna Sawai Shogun. Anna Sawai should win. Just no one else really pops. In musical or comedy, Adam Brody for No One Wants This, Ted Denson, A Man on the Inside, Steve Martin, Only Murders, Jason Segel, Shrinking, Jermaine and White the Bear, Martin Short, Only Murders. This is, I would argue, Jason Segel versus Jeremy Allen White, and it's a question of what's the people's fatigue on the Bear. Because Shrinking's gained momentum and the Bear had a bad award season last year. Actress, Kristen Bell, Nobody Wants This, Quinta Brunson, Abbott Elementary, Ayo Edebiri, The Bear, Selena Gomez, Only Murders, Catherine Hahn, Agatha All Along, sneaking a nomination in there, Jean Smart, Hacks, Jean Smart, Ayo, or Quinta. Again, maybe I'm underrating the Nobody Wants This momentum, but I just don't see it. Colin Farrell versus Richard Gadd in terms of who is taking home. Colin Farrell versus Richard Gadd versus Andrew Scott in terms of who's taking home Best Actor for limited series and daily series drama. Again, this is a question of does Colin Farrell upset the race? Same thing in Best Actress for that category, where it's what does Christina Milioti do? The rest of the categories don't matter that much in terms of supporting, where it's probably someone from The Bear. It's probably Liza Cullen Zayas winning for The Bear, or Hannah Einbinder winning for Hacks, and supporting actor probably just Evan Moss Bacharach continuing to sweep through there. Though I would enjoy a Jack Lowden or a Tabuno Asano for Shogun. So yeah, that is the awards rundown of me just monologuing for 15 minutes and sharing thoughts on this. But hopefully come the next show, I can give a nice fun rundown, and hopefully we have some fun wins and it's not just chalky all the way through. And hopefully we have some really fun Nikki Glaser roasts.
I was thinking, should we do Wallace and Gromit for the pod?
Sure. We may need a little something else, but there was some great Wallace and Gromit memes. Where did you see these?
I'm not sure if I saw any new ones.
Where it's basically like Wallace's, like the Wallace plot is like him, like, oh hey Gromit, I'm doing some crazy invention thing here, and then it's like Grommet, and it's like the video of a barroom brawl, and 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 it's just like the Grommet plot is pure chaos, and whereas Wallace is just like, oh shucks, I'm here just making inventions.
Well, Alison Grommet is hands down like just some of the best entertainment out there.
Truly underrated, and it's been like years since just a straight Wallace and Gromit movie, because we did technically get Shaun the Sheep and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the last Wallace and Gromit proper movie where Jesus Christ, it was really 2005, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Holy shit.
Wow. That is something I did not need to see today.
I have that on DVD, man. Oh,
right.
2005?
And I mean, the last Shaun the Sheep we got was 2019.
Yeah, but like no one gives a fuck about Shaun the Sheep.
Yeah, but come on.
Well, in I will say, however, Wallace and Gromit did have a short-lived TV series in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
But holy Christ, man.
2005.
That hurts.
I was 11. It was right before my 12th birthday.
I was like 5.
Christ, man.
All right. Anyway, guys, that's the show for today.
That's crazy. And then even like the short films, the last one was 2008. And before that was 1995.
Cut it here.
That's all we got for you guys. We're going to watch Wallace and Gromit next week. We will have the Creature Commandos season finale. We will have the, I believe, penultimate episode of Skeleton Crew. Double checking that here for the people so I don't sound stupid. Yeah, penultimate episode. Lee Isaac Chung episode, which will be good. And then we will have Wallace and Gromit. We'll figure out some stuff. By the time you're listening to this, our voicemail line will be open, so you can leave us a voicemail and let us know shows and movies that you're watching that we should watch on the show and add to our 2025 docket. As we only have 2 more shows that will get scores for 2024 to round out the year, because that's when they debuted. So we will have Skeleton Crew and Creature Commandos added to the list. And then we will close the book on 2024 and head into our 2025 slate. But be sure to follow us on the socials. Subscribe to the pod on Apple and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. So help us get there. And then that means we're adding Game of Thrones Season 1 to the docket. So subscribe. And, of course, stay tuned for next week's episodes. Should be a doozy of an episode. But until then, this has been another episode of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Harrison, for Christian, I'm KB. We're going to go figure out what the hell's going on to prevent World War III in a galaxy far, far away and survive a death.
Survive capitalism.
But until next time, we'll see you next time.